Welcome to the Shoot It Straight podcast.
Welcome everybody to our show. Oh, I kind of like that. That was a good announcement voice or intro voice.
Yeah, I told you I was on the news when I was in elementary school.
Oh, were you one of the dorks that did the morning announcements?
I did the morning announcement. I did the Ranger Network News. I can't believe that just popped out of my head like that because we were the Elk Neck Rangers, Elk Neck Elementary Rangers. So I did the Ranger. I can't believe that just came out of nowhere. And then in middle school, I did the announcements on the intercom.
Every morning, or you alternated?
No, wait, you know what? You know what I did? In middle school, we had a TV show too, and I did that. And then in high school, I volunteered at the middle school and got to do the afternoon announcements on the intercom.
I would have never been trusted with that.
I cannot believe that. It was so funny. Maybe I was always meant to be on a podcast.
What was the closing phrase?
We didn't have a closing phrase.
I remember ours in high school. It was like, make it a great day or not. The choice is yours.
That's so everybody. I feel that's so generic. I don't remember. I do remember, welcome to the Ranger Network News, but I cannot remember what we said on the announcements. I remember, I think what we did too was we probably handed it off to some adult in the principal's office that did another couple minutes of their wrap up. But we would say things like, school events. And then I remember we would say what was in the lost and found that people needed to come and get. It was just, I don't know, stupid things that we remember that are ingrained in our head, isn't it?
I guess. And what happens to kids nowadays? They just get it texted to them on their phone?
Actually, yeah, we were just talking about that yesterday. Who was I talking? Oh, Brandy and I were talking about that yesterday. Because we were chatting about school days. When you had to wait for on the news, you remember on snow days, the cancellations would scroll at the bottom in alphabetical order. For us, it was county. I'm sure around here it was school.
Public schools, yeah.
But I grew up in Cecil County, so yeah, once D or Dundalk came up, it was fuck, I have to wait a whole nother 20 minutes for them to cycle through all the other counties in the greater Baltimore, Philly area, which was forever to wait to see if Cecil County came back around. Yeah, now it's just there's apps and Twitter and Facebook and it's everywhere. And they do it 8 days in advance when there's a snowstorm coming. You know about it.
Well, I think they do now because they have the remote learning capability. So they just they feel like they pulled the trigger a lot faster nowadays.
I don't even know. I don't even know what that looks like because that's also super recent. Some schools maybe do more remote than others. I would imagine that's probably very specific to the region of the country that you live in. But I'm really glad that wasn't a thing back then. But I also think we went to school a little bit more. We were talking about that yesterday too. I definitely remember sliding around in my Honda Civic, no joke, on the back roads. That's just what. Yeah. You did. There was just ice on where I grew up, there was just ice back there. You didn't, the other roads could be perfect, but we just grew up, it was dark and shady and there were dirt roads. I mean, we just had to kind of get out somehow. And we definitely didn't have school canceled a lot.
You Maryland rednecks, you.
Literally. Yeah.
I lived in the big city.
You lived in the big city, but really. You guys don't take care of roads out here, though.
Well,
so
it doesn't happen very often out here. But yeah, I mean, I remember where I grew up. I lived kind of out in the country, but it was a straight mile to a big street, so it wasn't a big deal. But I remember when I was 14 years old, I wrecked my mom's car into a ditch when it was icy.
Yeah.
She let me drive to the store and back when I was 14.
Totally. I'm pretty sure I slipped and slid off the road too. Nothing bad, but it definitely was there were moments that my dad had to be called for sure to come pull my little tiny little Hot Wheels.
Ooh, and we're buying your dad's truck, which is a massive truck. Maybe I'll pull some people out this year.
Oh my God.
Maybe I'll just drive around and pull people out for money.
Yeah, you should be a snowplower.
I shouldn't have said for money. I will do it out of the kindness of my heart. Donations accepted. I'll donate to
We've
charity.
Always wanted to be rig owners or whatever. We've done a lot. We went to the Christmas parade yesterday, and there was the big old, what do they call them? Not rigs. What do we call the tow trucks that I love? They're not tow trucks though. It's
they're not wreckers.
A wrecker.
No, it's not a wrecker.
It is.
No, it's not. But anyways,
that's what they call them on that show that we watched.
They called them something else.
Well, I feel bad that we don't remember because they're my favorite thing. anyway, they're not just tow trucks because they're not. They have the big arm that comes out that can actually pull out like 18 wheelers from like snowbanks. We watched this show, if anybody knows about the one where they do the guys in Canada, basically like the highways up there, and they're just badass like truck driving guys.
I mean, like it's bothering me. Yeah, some kind of like crazy named like that they use for like the arm that comes out and like moves all these cars around.
I thought it was a wrecker. All right, well we don't have an assistant that Jamie like Joe Rogan does to call on like for looking things up. But one day we will. Yeah, we don't have a Doug, but we will.
Google that. Figure it out.
We will one day, but maybe we'll put it in the show notes for. I will put the show in the show notes because actually I kind of want to find it again and watch it again. We need to find it again.
Yeah, give us a break from murder documentaries.
Yeah, we've been at it with the murder documentaries. I'm not even going to go into the ones that we've seen recently, but people are really fucked up, y'all.
Really fucked up.
Anyway, got a little sidetracked about that was like the whole Ranger Network news thing. But yeah, thank you for my introduction.
The Ranger News thing.
My Ranger News voice. Anyway, today's episode, I think we should go into what we're talking about today, is about New Year's goals. Or maybe we just call it goals. Maybe we don't have to give it a name. I definitely don't want to call them New Year's resolutions.
Ooh. I don't know. See, I don't mind calling all that stuff like what it is. Like, it's fine. A new year is time to be motivating. Time does motivate us, right? Like, what is like the biggest motivating factor in our lives, right? It's time that we don't have forever on this earth, so we want to get some things done.
Yeah,
right? And I think the new year is always like it's just another way of like using time to motivate you.
Okay.
And I think it's fine.
I like that we can disagree. Yeah. I don't necessarily disagree with New Year's resolutions because I think more like it is a good time of year when it's kind of like holidays are just busy and kind of hustly and bustly, and or you also kind of want to just decompress. People at their jobs start to just slow down. People are kind of like a little bit checked out. So like naturally it's good to just take that break. And then like January is just a good time to, okay, like I took a break. Now time to like refocus back in.
Yeah. Holidays are over. And why I think, it's a great fitness time, right? It's because it's just the weather, right? You can't like, especially for golfers, like we're not out there playing golf all the time in January and February.
Yes.
Even in March, like it's just not happening unless you live in a warm weather area. So it's just a perfect time to work on your fitness.
It's a good time. So are we going to talk about fitness goals for 2024 specifically?
I don't know. I think just goals in general.
Yeah.
I wrote like a few things up there, but.
Well, kick us off.
Oh, no, you're going to make me kick us off on this one? I don't even know what the acronym is that I wrote up there with the SMART goals. And I don't even want to get into it.
I think I know what SMART goals are.
Okay.
I think I know all the letters.
I know what they are. Yeah, I don't know all the letters anymore, but I know what it is. It's like when people like ask me sometimes like, oh, well, how do you know that? Like, where's like, and now the thing is on social media, it's like, show me your study that you know this from. Where's the research? And I'm like, it's something I read years ago that I know to be true. I don't know what the study is anymore. If you don't believe me, you don't have to listen to me. But anyways, there's my soapbox about that. But just because I don't know what the SMART goals mean doesn't mean we can't use it.
Well, okay. So specific, measurable, attainable,
realistic.
I feel like attainable and realistic is the same thing. So we might need to do a fact check.
Okay. And then
time.
Yes. Okay.
So maybe A and R maybe I need to do a little Jamie Google right now.
Anyways, the people out there know.
Yeah, they know. And we're also not going to sit here and pretend we're smart experts because we're not.
Right.
I don't use this with my clients. I'm going to come out and say that. I think a lot of people get up and they start talking about shit that they Googled before they start a fucking podcast. That's not what we do.
Right.
We're going to sit here and talk about how we apply them. But if I'm working with a client on what their goals are, I'll kind of unpack this a little bit and what SMART is really getting after is for things. I think specific is the most important part. And so really what specific means is like instead of being like, I'm going to do better with my health. Like that's so generic and that like there's no way to measure that. You should probably come up with something that's a little bit more SMART, specific and measurable. So maybe that looks more like, I'm going to eat a vegetable every single day.
Right.
One serving of it, or I'm just going to incorporate one vegetable into my life every single day. Mm-hmm. That's simple. That's definitely attainable. Again, I'm not kind of going to go off the acronym per se, but you want to set the bar to a point where you're going to achieve it because that also helps you get the momentum going.
Exactly.
Momentum is key here, guys. And so when I'm looking at client goals, yes, we might set year goals that are, you can't achieve day to day or week to week. It might be a bigger goal like, maybe it is a weight loss specific goal. Maybe it is, getting your blood pressure down, or something that will take like a little bit of time. But what's really important, I think, when you're attacking this, like at the beginning of the year and wanting to build momentum, is keeping things in chunks that aren't year-long chunks. Because you're just going to be like, I can't see the other side of this. It's 300 days away or whatever. Like, what the hell? So I do, with my bi-weekly check-ins, we do like, what are you going to work on this week? That's like a literal task towards that goal. Mm-hmm. So that's why I brought up the vegetable thing, because it's like, all right, well, if like you have a weight loss, like long-term plan to be, or whatever, or to have better blood work or labs, what are the steps? Then there's usually a dozen or more things that you can do to like do better at that. Maybe it's just getting your step goal up. Maybe instead of 4K steps a day and being very sedentary, you're working towards 6,000 steps a day. Maybe instead of eating out 8 times a week, you're doing 2 meals out a week and cooking more at home. So that's where we're meeting, like where it's like kind of keep things measurable, keep things specific, but also like it's cool to have the long-term focus and have a bigger overall arching 1 or 2 goals. But when you're breaking it down week to week or month to month, to kind of keep it in chunks and make them actionable. So it's very like, you know what you need to do to get there. And then you're checking off the box and you're like, oh, I did that. Instead of it's like you're just constantly already falling behind 2 weeks into January and you're like, shit. And then it's just nothing ever gets done.
Right. And I like that. I like momentum. I think that's a better M word to use than the popular motivation word that people want. I think momentum will bring the motivation for you, right?
Totally.
Like, this goes back to when I used to see a lot of people one-on-one in the gym this time of year. Like, when I ran big box gyms, we would do fitness consultations with people, and I could end up having 8 of these things a day where someone's walking into my office and we're talking about their fitness goals for whatever it is, and we'll just say the New Year's for the sake of this conversation. And it'll be someone off the street that has haven't worked out in a long time. Maybe they've never worked out before in their lives, and they've been told or they've heard that you need to work out 4 or 5 days a week or something like that. And they're like, yeah. And I'll say, okay, how many times a week are you going to dedicate to reaching your goals this year? 5. I'm like, okay, let's unpack that for a second. How many days do you work out currently? They're like, I don't work out at all. Okay.
Right.
Let's back the train up a little bit.
Totally.
How about we commit to something that we actually can achieve, right? Like, let's be realistic here. How about 1 or 2 days a week? Can we do that? Okay, let's start there. Let's get that momentum going.
Totally.
And then once you start crushing that and you're like, I want more. Perfect. That's exactly where we want to be. Like, I don't want someone saying I need to do less, because then that's going to lead to the snowball effect of doing nothing, I guess. So just little chunks, always adding more, because you can always add more, but taking away is a negative thing in your head.
Well, it makes you lose momentum. It's demotivating when you say you're going to do something and then you don't. That's what gets people into trouble. I always talk to people about having integrity with themselves, because it's like there's nothing more disappointing than when a friend last minute cancels on you 7 times in a row, and then you're like, fuck that person. Why do I call them a friend?
Right.
But for ourselves, we do that to ourselves constantly, and then we wonder why we feel bad about ourselves, or depressed, or can't sleep at night, or whatever, or why we can't ever achieve anything. And it's because you keep telling yourself you're going to do things and you're not keeping promises to yourself over and over and over again. And again, this isn't about like, oh, I have to hit my goals every time I say I'm going to hit my goals. No, but you have to reframe like how you're thinking about like what you're telling yourself that you're going to do, and manage your expectations. Like, always go back to that. It's like, if you just had a new baby, if you just got a new job, like, let's not put all the eggs in all the baskets and say you're also going to start working out 7 days a week, and you're going to transform your diet at the same time too, and you're going to hit your step goal, and you're going to also start investing money, and you're going to be a millionaire in 3 years. Right. Like, there's just like, okay, don't bite off more than you can chew, because that'll make you feel like shit.
Right. Yeah. And I think this, I heard this, was listening to Alex Hormozy and Dave Ramsey the other day, and yeah, in a perfect world, you could write down all the things, like, you could write down the perfect program. I'm going to eat exactly this. I'm going to do this exact workout. I'm going to do all this. But like, if you don't have the momentum built up to do that, like if you're starting from like square one, like that's going to be a problem. And I think this relates, and you can probably correct me if I'm wrong, but they were talking about, the get out of debt strategies, right? And they're like, the most like logical strategy is that you pay out, like if you're in debt and you have all these interest rates, you would pay off the debt that has the highest interest rate. Like, mathematically, that is the smartest thing to do. But they said if you were great at math, you wouldn't have had that problem to begin with. It's like it's a behavior problem. So like do the debt snowball one, because that is going to lead to really good behavior. So like here we are, the same thing. Like, yeah, logically, be like, okay, I'm going to work on my hip mobility, and then I'm going to go right into this, and then I'm going to do a 2 a day, eat perfect, and I'm going to sleep well at night, and I'm going to get all my work done. Like, this is going to be like the greatest New Year's of all time, right? Like, let's just actually like start a little bit slower, build that momentum up, and then we can have the greatest New Year's of all time. But we started one step at a time.
Yeah. And I mean, just to go back to the debt snowball, I mean, just to clarify, if people don't know what that is, it really is just like if you have a $500 credit card outstanding and that'll pay it off, like do that one first is what that is, versus it doesn't matter what the interest rates are. Like you do the things that are like a little easier versus the $50,000 in student loan debt that might have a 0% interest rate, but it's like, that might have a higher interest rate that you want to chunk down. But it's like once you pay one off, that's the smaller balance that's easier to do. Then it's like, that felt good. I'm going to work on the next one. So that's like kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Get the lower hanging fruit. That's why we always encourage people to like, don't focus on the supplements and the greens powders and the meal timing and like the things that people ask about all the time. It's the big chunks. How much stress do you have? Can you manage it? Are we sleeping well? Can we be active by like just getting up and walking around a little bit more? Like those are the big needle movers. And then again, all those can be easily broken down into little baby chunks. I want to get 10 more minutes of sleep. I'm going to go to bed 10 minutes earlier. I'm going to wake up maybe 10 minutes earlier to give myself 10 extra minutes in the morning for my making a breakfast or prepping my lunch. Like little baby things go a really, really long way.
Right.
Yeah. So that's kind of our version of SMART goals, and also how we attack goal setting with like both ourselves and like our clients. I haven't really have you thought about any of your New Year's? Are you thinking about any goals for you in 2024? I know we've talked about business goals. I don't know if we're ready to share those goals quite yet. Maybe like we'll start to share things next year.
Yeah. So, I mean, for our Lift Heavy Swing Fast program, I'm going to start some type of cohort, if you will, of like a accountability, motivation, discipline group within our programming. And maybe by the time you hear this, I won't be offering anymore because I'm going to limit how many people I let into this. The current people that are already in there, plus like a few people that'll sign up in the future. But I'll have a cap on it so that way I can help everyone stay accountable. And I think that kind of leads into my New Year's goals. I'm reading some books. I'm working on myself a lot right now. Do I want to tell people I'm joining therapy and things? But
you
I
sure
think
do.
I think I just did. So like, there's a lot of things that I'm working on myself, and I think I'm reading a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Super popular, I'm sure.
Very popular.
Know.
It's a very old book. I mean, I'm a history nerd, so like I love reading the book, and his stories are about like FDR and Lincoln and Andrew Carnegie and like all these people from like hundreds of years ago, and hearing like how they became so successful and what they do and how they interact with people. And so I'm trying to like do that, and I think I just want to. And this also does relate to my business too, like, but I just want to focus on how I can help our people do the best. That's why like, part of this accountability group, and I'm being much more involved within our programs. And I'm going to probably change the way I interact with people on social media. Right now I kind of get into fights with people that disagree and want to be jerks, and I try to, make them, I don't want to say prove them wrong, but like prove my point. And, and I don't like people bullying people. So like, I kind of like, kind of come in with like my arms up and like ready to fight these people that I feel like are being bullies. Just kind of put them in their place. But I've realized that that's not worth my time, and internet trolls are a thing. So I need to just forget those people because they're not worth my time, and focus on people that really want our help. Because it was cool to see the other day, like I wrote about this on my story, and I was like, man, like it's crazy. Like the people that are out there, you come in with an open mind to like try to help them if they disagree with you, and then they basically just end up talking shit to you, and usually like make it personal and like start attacking you. And I'm like, wow, that's really just not worth my time. And then I had like, I don't know, like 30 messages from people saying like, hey, I really appreciate what you put out. I've never heard from these people before. So it just reminds me that the majority of people out there are good and that are willing to be helped and want to be helped, and I can help them and not give a shit about the people that just want to troll me.
Totally.
Or that are trolls. Like they're not worth my time. And there's tons of people that are. So like this all is like kind of really like changed how like, okay, let me work on myself to help change my thought process into engaging with people that want to be helped and actually helping them.
Yes.
And that's what I want.
Yeah, and I think I'm loving that you shared all of that and like the story around it, because we are focusing on our people in 2024. And I think we've always done a good job of that, by the way. Like that has been our goal.
Right.
But like we've shifted some things in the business for the better, I think. We're kind of pivoting even, and again, it's grown, so we've gotten to the point now where we can kind of shift to like, let's keep our people happy, let's kind of keep them accountable, because we know that that's the most important thing. That's why we're talking about goals, is like we can sell all the programming that we want, but it's like at the end of the day we want people to stick with it and get results. And so like that's what we want, is like to get behind like what can help people the most, what can really shift people's mindsets, what can keep people accountable so that they can hit their goals, because we both know that's the hardest thing in the fitness and health space, is for people to, they can follow the best program in the world, like we said, but it's not going to do anything if we're not doing it. Right. They're not taking action. And so we want to help people take action. You're taking personal action, which is good.
Well, and I think you hit on, I kind of want to just talk about that for a second. Like, when you support someone's business, like, all these wonderful people that have supported our business and currently are supporting our business, the way it's grown has now allowed, because we have to market our business, right? Like people are never going to sign up for our program if we don't tell them about it. And that's marketing 101, right? Just tell people about the thing you sell. And now that we've got so many great people in our program, that I'm at a point where I don't have to spend so much time like marketing it. I can spend more time like diving into these people. And I've always been proud of the programming we've put out, but now I'm like even deeper into it. Like I do it every single day. I tweak it. I write down things. Like it's something that's always on my mind. It's like, how can I make the best product for these people to get the best results? And like now that is all I focus on. Yeah, sure, I'll put a few things on social media to try to tell more people about it and still market it, because is what you have to do. But due to the support and the growth, it's like that's what I don't think people realize that they're doing for us and doing for them in return, right? Like the more you invest like in a small business or something like that, the more I can turn around and put more back into you.
Yeah, I mean, and that's like if a business is doing a good job.
Right.
Because we both know that's not always the case.
Right.
But yes, for sure that's what's happening with us. And it's really kind of like hitting the nail on the head with the point that we're driving home around goals, is like we start, that's just how businesses run. It starts out in small little chunks and little nuggets. We piece things together. We figure out how to do email newsletters. We figure out how to upload workouts to a new platform. Like all these, like those things all have to happen first and like lay the foundation before you're out there being like, well, now I'm going to do this big accountability program. Like, no, it's like start with the nuggets that need to get started with first, that are going to move the needle. And like you build the momentum. And now we're at this different place where the momentum has been built. And so now we can kind of shift our focus to where we want it to go and what our people and our programs want.
Oh yeah, and the accountability program that I'm offering within our program is going to be free.
Yes.
Boom. Boom.
So if you're not in the program, now's a really good time to sign up. This is going to be broadcasted right before Christmas. So we do offer a free 7-day trial. I think that's important to note. So it's actually a really good time if you're coming into the holidays to kind of like dabble into the program, look at it, and that way come New Year's, when you're ready for like the accountability program to start up, you're already like integrated into the app. You've already joined our Facebook group, which we offer for all of our members anyway. And you kind of like you're in the circle. You're in the know, and then we can hit the ground running in 2024.
That's right.
Which is weird to say. It sounds like a big number, 2024. I don't know why that is so.
You know what was boggling my mind the other day, and like this is just the weird ways my mind work. I'm like, okay, we said 2009. We didn't say 2009. Now we say 2024. We don't say 2024 very often. I know, it's just kind of funny.
These are the things that you're going to therapy for.
This is what I'm going to therapy for.
Okay.
Like, how does that work?
Like literally, this keeps you up at night, and it's like I go to sleep.
This is so confusing to me.
No, but like literally, that's so funny that thought just happened out loud for everyone to hear it. Isn't there like AI technology coming out that like is reading people's minds? That's like a thing.
Oh, good luck with mine. They're gonna be like, nope, I'm good. The robots aren't gonna want to read mine.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like that's gonna be a thing that totally backfires, I think. But anyway, I'm not gonna get into that. It's a topic I don't know enough about.
But did we talk about your goals?
I mean, not necessarily. I don't think it's I haven't thought about them. I said I haven't really thought much about 2024 goals. I mean, we've obviously collectively set business goals. I mean, there's a lot of things that we're sharing in that realm.
Yeah.
But no, I haven't to be honest, no, I haven't set like personal. I don't really have any health and fitness goals. I'm probably not going to have any.
Yeah. Mine wasn't really health and fitness, I guess. And I encourage, a lot of people, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and like act like I'm on my high horse because I'm doing certain things to work on myself, but it's not a selfish thing to do either. Like, you work on yourself, it enhances the life of everyone around you too.
Totally. But it's also not something you haven't, it's not something you can do forever either. We've talked about, I think that's an important thing is like, there's phases of life where that's applicable. And so for people that have been reading self-help books for 4 years, like do the fucking work and go out and live your life. I'm encouraging those people.
Right.
Because we all know those people, or maybe we've been those people. And it's like, cool, you've read the books, you've done the things. We're not sitting here telling you to do that forever. Go take action. Go put some things into action.
Right.
I don't know who said the phrase, but it's like no book, like it doesn't make sense to read any books if you're not going to do anything about it. If you're not going to take any action. Like
right.
the book is pointless. The course is even pointless.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything. So but go out there and take action. That's why it's like your time is really precious. So do the things that matter and take action on them. Because that's really the best way to get feedback. It's the best way to, you can read all the blogs and ask all the questions. We have sometimes people email us like 86 times before they buy a program. And it's like, okay, we get that you have questions and we answer questions. But also it's like, dude, the free trial is there. Like, do the work. Like, just go for it.
Yeah.
Go for it. Try it out. Like, execute. We want our people to just go do. Because that's when you're going to, like, learn the absolute most.
Right.
And so you're in your phase of, like, doing some shifts. Because there's been a lot of shifts in our lives. We've moved around a lot. You started a new business. Like, there's been a lot of things in the last couple of years. And so that's been the focus. And now it's, like, your time to kind of, like, center in and do that.
And it's good.
Yeah, no, it's really good. It's really good because I think we've now we've collaborated, we've done the things, and we've got like a good thing going, and I think we'll have a good 2024.
Damn right we will.
So
I know some people tune in just to see Squat.
Oh, so it's been a minute. He's here.
So just to let everyone know that's viewing, he's been under my blanket the whole time, and there he is.
We did a lot yesterday by way of walking around and seeing Christmas lights. We took him to the parade for a couple of hours, so he was stimulated. And if anybody owns a dachshund, I think they know that they need their downtime after a long day.
Yes, he needs lots of recovery.
He needs a lot of recovery, even though he didn't really walk around much. He was in our backpacker. We were holding him for the majority of our activities yesterday. But
mental
he still
stimulation.
Was like, yeah, he gets a little anxious. But yeah, well, that was actually really good. I think that went in a direction maybe we weren't expecting it to, but I think that we actually hit the nails on the head.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah, we did good.
Good job there.
Maybe in the future episodes, I'll share more goals that I might have, but I might not be in my goal setting era. I'm feeling very good where I'm at.
Erika's very good at just kind of doing whatever she wants.
It's not that the reason that I brought up the goal, the whole like don't read the books and do the things like I've done that, and that wasn't. I mean, it was a while ago, but it's like I'm good now. I'm in my execution era.
What I'm doing different about reading this book, and it's basically because they told me to do it. It's amazing the power of what you'll do when someone tells you to do it. And at the beginning of the book, it's like read each chapter twice, and then go use each chapter.
And it's like you go do it
before you read the next one. And it's like I did what they said to do, and you retain it so much better.
That's probably why it's a good book.
That's probably why it's been like the best-selling book for like 100 years.
Seriously.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's great, but great book. But
yeah, so I'm saying go out and do the things, guys. But yes, keep this in mind. Replay this episode if you need to when it comes to setting your goals. Show notes too, guys. Check the show notes. I put chapters and timestamps so you can like specifically go to the sections that you want to reference back to. People have been using them. We can kind of see it in our watch that they kind of
jump around.
You can tell when people watch longer or go to a certain part of the video, which is good. I want that feedback so that we know people are using the show notes. Yeah. So reference the show notes, guys. And we'll keep it at that to close out today's episode. I think, let's kind of like send everybody off into the new year. Oh, and then our next episode will not be coming out until the new year. We're going to take a break during Christmas week. So this is our final one for 2023.
We'll be driving back from Maryland in a big, giant truck.
We'll be driving in the truck that we're buying from my dad. Hopefully it makes it. It's in a good condition, but it's also like got 200,000 miles on it, I think, ish at this point. So.
Oh, we're going to make it.
Good Godspeed to us.
A diesel. Yeah. 2,500 heavy duty. be barreling down the highway
it's
for 20 hours.
Bumpy and not as comfortable as the Telluride for sure.
We'll have a great time.
All right, guys. Well, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and all of the things. We will talk soon.